Welcome to clip number 13 of my diary of building the John Smith Busker. Clip 13, so 11th session, and so far the tracker bar is done. As you have seen, perhaps if you watched the last clip, the tracker bar is now completed with the top part, the 3 base holes, the 17 smaller notes glued carefully to its baseboard with all the exit pipes, and I've tested the windproofness of each chamber by just blocking the hole on the top of the bar and blowing through the corresponding pipe at the base. My little wedge at the end in the last cell, so that the head of the screw just fits in, the same both ends, and a little wedge so I can bring the screw out and fit it in to the last chamber. And that means that once I've attached the block to the surface of the inside of the pressure box, I've got a little bit of leeway either side. I can slide it 2 or 3 millimeters either side. So that's the tracker bars done. The lid of the pressure box is done as well. It's waiting now for its hole so that you can see. That'll be the interesting part, to see the paper oil pass by over the tracker bar. So a hole is to be made. The lid has just been made roughly with the 4 edges and a top slightly bigger so that it can be sanded down to be a perfect fit. And I made the lid on top of the box so that I can be sure that the box will be exactly the same size. The lid will be exactly the same size as the rest of the pressure box, and bellows reservoir on the right, and the pipes you've seen are all done. And the next thing I've been working on is the decorative panel for the back of the organ. And I was reading what John Smith, the designer of the Busker, said, and he reminds us that the instrument is a rustic instrument. It's a busker after all, its name is. It should be worn around the neck and taken into streets, street corners, or played outside in the open air at picnics with their friends. So I'm looking for simple motives to design it to begin with, and this motif comes from a loudspeaker of the 1930s, and I thought that was an interesting motif. And the idea came from the fact that several of the books I've been reading on the history of the pipe organ, the fairground organ, say that it was the advent of the loudspeaker in the 20s or 30s that really sounded the death knell for the fairground organ. So I found in a book of the 30s a photo of the loudspeaker, photocopied it, I then enlarged the photocopy and cut it out, and glued the photocopy, in fact not cut out, that's through having cut out, I glued the whole photocopy on the wood with movable glue, pierced through each section with my drill, and then with a scroll saw cut out each window. And then what I've just been doing this evening is to straighten up these edges. It's very hard to cut a really straight edge with a scroll saw, so I invented this new technique, which I expect experienced people know. But I found that if I take 2 bits of wood with a nice straight edge, and I line them up on the straight edge that I want, for example that sun ray there, I line up the bit of wood in front, line up the bit of wood behind, clamp these with a clamp firmly, and then I can file with a small file along that straight edge, giving me a straight edge. So that will make the decorative panel for the back of the Busker. The front of the Busker will be something quite different, and I hope original, but inventive. Remember, my inspiration for building this is the lovely Busker organ built by Organ Fan Dan, whose lovely Busker with the cuckoo you can see on my favourites on my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Part 14 coming soon for the beginning of the assembly of the instrument. Bye bye.